right, so we're diving deep into the life of Phil Lesh,
Yeah. Legendary bassist for the Grateful Dead.
who sadly just recently passed away at 84.
Yeah.
We're looking at a podcast episode
Okay.
dedicated to Phil's memory. And I think it really shines a light on how important he was.
Absolute.
Not just a musician, like, just a bass player,
Right.
but like a cornerstone
Yeah.
of a whole cultural movement.
Totally. His story is like completely intertwined with the rise of the Grateful Dead.
Yeah,
And like their lasting impact on music in general.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it all started like back in the 40s in Berkeley,
Oh, yeah.
California.
What a time and place to be born,
Talk about,
If you're a musician.
a hotbed of creativity for a
Absolutely.
young, budding musician.
Totally.
I mean, just imagine him soaking up that whole vibrant,
Yeah.
arts and music scene.
It was so diverse, too. He had
Wow.
all these different influences.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he doesn't, like, jump right into rock and roll, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of kids.
He actually started with classical and jazz.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he had, like, a really solid foundation in music theory,
Oh.
you know?
He even went to San Francisco State
Really?
to study music formally.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So he really, like, took that and then applied it to the rock world,
He did. It was perfect timing, too.
which was blowing up in the 60s.
Yeah, because rock was taking off in the 60s, and he was right there.
Right.
Like, bridging those worlds.
Right.
Bringing something new to it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like he was, like, perfectly positioned
He was.
between these different worlds of music.
Absolutely.
That's so cool.
And that's a big part of what made his style so unique.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't just a rock bassist,
Right.
He was like weaving in all these different elements, jazz, classical, even avant-garde stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
It was really innovative.
So then 1965 comes around.
Yeah.
The Grateful Dead take shape.
Yep.
Phil meets Jerry Garcia, Bob Weir.
The rest is history.
And it's history. It's amazing.
It is, but it's not just about the band forming,
Right.
It's also about how he redefined the bass guitar's role
Yeah.
in rock music.
So how do you do that?
Well, think about most rock bassists back then. They were like, laying down the rhythm.
Right. The foundation.
Yeah, the foundation.
Right.
But Phil,
Yeah.
he took the bass on these melodic journeys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, creating these like walking bass lines
Okay.
that kind of danced around Jerry's lead guitar.
Interesting.
It was like a conversation between their instruments.
That's really cool.
It was, yeah.
And I've heard about his custom designed basses too.
Oh, yeah.
And was that like also part of this sonic exploration?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They gave him this like extended range, and like a unique tonal quality that you wouldn't get from a regular bass.
Wow.
So he could hit those deep resonant notes.
Okay.
That became like a signature part of the Dead's sound.
It's like he was constantly pushing the boundaries,
He was.
technically and musically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He never wanted to just stay in one place.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's really reflected in their music.
It is.
It wasn't just like playing songs.
Right.
It was like weaving these sonic tapestries, you know.
Yeah, they were blending all these different genres, jazz, blues, folk, even psychedelic elements. It was
Wow.
like a whole like soundscape.
That really was.
Yeah.
Think about like a song like Uncle John's Band, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can really hear those
The intricate bass line.
intricate bass lines.
Yeah.
And like they're not just there.
No.
They really contribute to that feeling of
To the overall feeling.
like sonic exploration, you know.
Yeah, like you're on a journey with them.
Yeah.
It's not just background.
It's not just background rhythm.
Rhythm. It's
Fair.
like,
it's an integral part.
it's part of the musical journey.
Exactly.
And I think that's a big part of why the Deadheads,
Yeah.
their incredibly devoted fan base,
It really is.
like why they connected so deeply with the band.
Because it was more than just the music, you
Yeah.
know? It was like the shared experience.
Right.
The feeling of
The
community.
sense of belonging,
Exactly.
which their concerts fostered.
Yes.
And those legendary live shows.
Oh, man.
Phil's bass lines must have been a huge part of creating that energy
They were.
that kept fans coming back for more.
Yeah.
And more and more,
Absolutely. His interplay with the other musicians was amazing.
Yeah.
The improvisation, the extended jams, it was all part of that magic.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And what's even more amazing is he didn't stop.
Right.
When the Grateful Dead disbanded
He kept going.
back in 95. Yeah. He kept going with Phil Lesh and Friends.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he collaborated with all sorts of musicians.
He did. All sorts of genres, too.
Wow.
Always exploring new musical landscapes.
That speaks volumes about his, passion for music.
It really does.
Yeah.
He wasn't done learning or growing.
And beyond performing, he also,
Yeah.
he was a huge advocate for music education.
He was.
And did a lot of philanthropic work.
Yeah. He wanted everyone to experience the joy of music.
So it wasn't just about playing.
Right.
It was about sharing,
Yeah.
about passing it on,
Exactly.
believing in its power.
He really did.
So Phil Lesh was, so much more than just a musician.
Oh, yeah.
He was a pioneer,
He was.
an innovator,
Absolutely.
and a cultural icon
Yeah.
who helped redefine a whole genre of music.
He really did.
That's amazing.
It is.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's really incredible.
Well, as you listen to his music,
Yeah?
think about how he used the bass to shape the Grateful Dead's sound
Yeah?
and how that continues to influence music today.
Yeah?
Look at bands like Fish,
Right.
String Cheese Incident.
Yeah, yeah.
You can hear Phil's innovative spirit echoing through their music.
It's true. It's it's everywhere.
It is.
It really is. What a legacy.
It is.
Well, thank you for taking this deep dive with me.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
It's great.
Anytime.